And we will speak now. I'll give everybody, time to speak after the class because I have 8 shlokas to complete. Hare Krishna. Welcome you all to this ICF, another session on special scriptural pastimes. So we will start with our invocative prayers. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Everybody, you can mute yourself, but please say the prayers. Prayers are very important. Yeah? Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tado Jayam Tireye. Nashta Prayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Neshtaki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopakumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Prayers to my spiritual master. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Vishnu Putri Shinti Namacharya Padani Tekripa Padani Gauragatnadam Mukham Karoti Vachalam Punatil Yat Kripatam Ampandhe Shri Guru Dina Tarinam. Welcome you all, dear devotees. So, am I audible to everybody? Because I will not.
Yes, Mataji.
Thank you, Divya Desai Mataji. So, maximum are all the females, so you all can put on your cameras, no problem. Okay, so in Srimad Bhagavatam, we are on the 6th canto. We are completed with the 15th chapter, wherein Lord Angira, Narada Muni and Angira Rishi comes to instruct King Chitraketu. Now, always I say that Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita is a manual and Srimad Bhagavatam is the instructions further to know about who has given these instructions. These instructions have come from Supreme Lord, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. By reading Srimad Bhagavatam, we purify ourselves. That's the reason it is said that we must read every time. So with that note, we start. 16th chapter. Yesterday we have completed the 15th chapter. Very beautifully in the 15th chapter, it was said, 18th and 19th shloka, where Narada Muni is saying, that my dear king, you are an advanced devotee of the Supreme Personality of Godhead to be absorbed in lamentation for the loss of something material is unsuitable for a person like you. Therefore, we have both, that is, Narada Muni is saying myself and Angira Rishi. Angira Muni has come. So we both have come to relieve you from this false lamentation, which is due to your being merged in the darkness of ignorance. For those who are advanced in spiritual knowledge, to be affected by material loss and gain is not at all desirable. Yeah. So now we need to understand here, when Lord Narada Muni and Angira Muni, when they come, they have given him instructions. But furthermore, it is said that, Angira Muni is saying that I am Angira and he is Narada. He says, I am the same who gave you the sun, and he is great sage. This is great sage Narada, the direct son of Brahma. He is reintroducing himself. And then he says, we have come to relieve you. This is continue, He says, I do not give you transcendental knowledge or advanced, Why? Because he's saying, when I came to meet you, I saw that it's of no use to give you the spiritual knowledge or devotional knowledge. Why? Because your mind was focused and was stuck to material desire of and the anxiety of that you were not having son. So even if I would have told you, you would have not taken up seriously. So that's the time I blessed you with the son. So dear devotees, what we learn from here, for example, when we are in an angry mood, if somebody says, no, this was your mistake, he's already angry, he'll become more angry. So that time what you have to do is you have to pacify that person. From scriptures, we will understand. I'll give you best example is when Devaki and Vasudev got married, and when Kamsa, was in such a happy mood that my younger sister has got married, and he was, taking her to her, in-laws house with brother-in-law. He was very happy. The moment, till the time, he did not hear the announcement that, you fool, there was the announcement from the sky that you are a fool. Why are you so happy? And, what are you happy about? This same sister's 8th son is going to be the reason of your death. And then the way he changed, his anger was on such a top that for Vasudev, it was a big challenge that how even a word that he opened from his mouth has to be in such a way that he can that moment save his wife. That was the topmost requirement, priority. So he was, praising Kamsa like anything. So same way the situation here, Angira Muni is saying that I had to come, but since I saw you that your mood and your mind is, towards material requirement, there was no point in my giving you devotional knowledge. Yeah. Yes, Divya Desai Mataji, you want to say something?
No, nothing much, Mataji.
Okay.
Mataji was telling yesterday, Hare Krishna Mataji,
Yes.
that one proverb she was telling that Lord has provided for everyone's need, but not enough for one's greed. She was mentioning that for Chitra, because he was having so much of.
Very true.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Yeah. So start reading. So I'm going to complete 8 shlokas for today. You all can take part in reading. We have very less of purports, and that's the reason we have less of the audience also today. Can somebody put it in the group that we have started so that, if somebody has missed out? Who can do that? Padma Mataji, can you put it in the group?
Yes, Mataji, I can.
So, Divya Desai Mataji, you want to read the shloka?
Yes, Mataji.
Okay. Shri Bhadrayana Vacha Atha Deva Rishi Rajan Samparyetam Nripat Majam. Go ahead, Mataji.
Sri Badarayani Ruvacha Atha Deva Rushi Rajan Samparetum Rapatmajam.
Darshaya ye tveti hovacha jantinam anusochitam.
Darshayisveti hovacha jnatinam anushochatam.
Haribol. Yeah, you can read the translation also, Mataji.
Translation by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Sri Sukadeva Goswami said, "My dear King Parikshit, by his mystic power, the great sage Narada brought the dead son into the vision of all the lamenting relatives and then spoke as follows." Hare Krishna Mataji. Thank you very much.
Yeah. So, as we all know, the whole of Bhagavatam is getting unfolded because Shukadeva Goswami is speaking to Parikshit Maharaj, isn't it? That's why he's saying, my dear Parikshit, by his mystic power, whose mystic power? Narada Muni's mystic power brought the dead son into vision. So, dear devotees, what we understand? That these sages or these munis are not ordinary. So that's the reason it is said that by his mystic powers, that is, they are into devotion, surrendered 100% to Lord. In anything and everything and their own existence, they feel it is the cause of all causes is the absolute truth, that is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. Yeah, that he is empowered, that he brought the dead son into the vision of all lamenting relatives. It's not possible for an ordinary person. So we read the second shloka, that is 6:12-22. Shri Narada Uvacha. Yes, Indhu Mataji, you can go ahead with me. Jivatman Pashya Bandhram Te Mataram Pitaram Chete.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Nams. Text 2. Shri Narada Uvacha. Jivatman Pashya Badram Te Mataram Pitaram Chate. Shukruto
Bandhavastaptaha Sochatva Kritaya Prisham.
Shukruto Bandhavastaptaha Suchatvat Kritaya Brisham.
Mataji, translation.
Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Shri Narad Muni said, O living entity, all good fortune unto you. Just see your father and mother. All your friends and relatives are overwhelmed with grief because of your passing away.
As
Thank
we
you.
were saying, that Shukadeva Goswami is telling Parikshit Maharaj that Narada Muni has brought back the dead son, and now Narada Muni is speaking to that boy, the dead boy who has been relieved from death, and he has been revived from his death. And Narada Muni is saying to him, just see your father and mother and all the relatives, friends are overwhelmed with your grief because of your passing away. Yeah. So 6:16:3. Who wants to say the shloka?
Hare Krishna Mataji, may I?
Yeah, sure. Kalevaram swa avishya shesham ayu suhurvrataha.
Kalevaram swam abhishya sesham ayuhu suhruvrita.
Munchva bhogam pitra pratran adhistha nupasanam.
Punchva bhogan pitru pratan aditishta nrupasanam.
Translation.
Translation by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Because you died untimely, the balance of your lifetime still remains. Therefore, you may re-enter your body and enjoy the remainder of your life, surrendered by your friends and relatives.
Yes.
Accept the royal throne and all the opulences given by your father. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Beautiful. See how Narada Muni is not only bringing the dead son to life again, but he is telling the son, see how your relatives after your death, what is their situation. So now, please, you can continue, re-enter your body and enjoy the remainder of your life, surrendered by your friends and relatives. Accept the royal throne and all the opulence is given by your father. So it is like, somebody is, calling you back and saying, oh, whatever was not completed by you, please take. Who will not take it? Now we see what is the son trying to say. Now the son has come back. See, Jiva Uvacha. Who wants to repeat, please? Yeah, now Kishori Devi Mataji. Yeah. Jiva Uvacha Kashmin Janmanya Ami Mahyam Pittaro Matro Abhavan.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Thank you. Jiva Uvacha Kashmin Janmayami Mahyam Pitero Matero Bhavana.
Karmabhi-bhramayāmanasya devatiryan yonishu.
Karma Bhibra Amya Manasya Devati Yaryanu Yonishu.
Yeah, Brahmayamanasya. Okay.
Amya Manasya. Okay.
You can read the translation and purport also, Mataji, or somebody else wants to take the chance. Anybody who did not get the opportunity?
Hare Krishna Mataji, shall I read Mataji?
Yes, you can read the translation and the purport, please. Thank you, Navkishori Devi Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Translation by Srila Prabhupada, Jai Shri Prabhupada. By the mystic power of Narada Muni, the living entity re-entered his dead body for a short time and spoke in reply to Narada Muni's request. He said, according to the results of my fruitive activities, I, the living being, transmigrate from one body to another, sometimes going to the species of the demigods, sometimes to the species of lower animals, sometimes among the vegetables, and sometimes to the human species. Therefore, in which birth were these my mother and father? No one is actually my mother and father. How can I accept these two people as my parents? Purport. Here it is made clear that the living being enters a material body that is like a machine created by the 5 gross elements of material nature: earth, water, fire, air, and sky, and the 3 subtle elements: mind, intelligence, and ego. As confirmed in Bhagavad Gita, there are 2 separate identities called the inferior and the superior natures, which both belong to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. According to the results of the living entity's fruitive actions, he is forced to enter the material elements in different types of bodies. This time, the living entity was supposed to have been the son of Maharaja Chitraketu and Queen Kritadyuti, because according to the laws of nature, he had entered a body made by the king and the queen. Actually, however, he was not their son. The living entity is the son of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and because he wants to enjoy this material world, the Supreme Lord gives him a chance to enter various bodies. The living entity has no true relationship with the material body he gets from his material father and mother. He is part and parcel of the Supreme Lord, but he is allowed to go through different bodies. The body created by the so-called father and mother actually has nothing to do with its so-called creators. Therefore, the living entity flatly denied that Maharaja Chitraketu and his wife are his father and mother. Hari Bol, Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Mataji. Hare Krishna. So it's like, shocking. First of all, we see that the child has been, evoked from his death, by the mystic power of Narada Muni. Now he says, by the mystic power of Narada Muni, when the living entity re-entered his dead body for short time, this is very important, short time. So he spoke. Because this short time is not given by Narada Muni, but the living entity is taking this short time. He said, according to the results of my fruitive action, I, the living entity, transmigrated from one body to another, sometimes going up. Now, dear devotees, we need to understand here, we all jivas are bound with our karmas. For a second or a minute, look around yourself, in your society, out of your window. Anything that you see moving or non-moving, they all exist just because of the mercy of the Lord, and the appearances because of the due sanction of the Lord, because the jivas, we jivas, wanted to enjoy this material world. This gross body, which is given to us, this gross body, what we are having, this is nothing but, due to our karmas, we get this body. If we see, it says here, this material body that is like a machine created by 5 gross elements, Panchadhatu. And then the 3 subtle elements, that is mind, intelligence, and ego. All those who are coming to this life meet their death. We say, that we know our manufacturing date. That's why we bring big cake and we celebrate, happy birthday to you, to me. Yeah. Because we know our day of appearance. We don't know our death. Yeah. We don't know the date of our death. It says, all of us, all the living entities, their karma calculation, on the basis of the karma calculation, they are assigned, they have been given a certain body. That's the reason it says, the living being, transmigrate from one body to another, sometimes going to the species of the demigods, sometimes to the species of lower animal, sometimes among the vegetation, and sometimes to human species. Therefore, in which birth you were my mother and father? Oh my God, such a painful, isn't it? Such a painful. Now, if we all know, we all know that, we evolve ourselves to 84 lakhs species life. I hope everybody knows this, isn't it? Yeah?
Yes.
Yes, Mataji.
Do you all know the breakups of it? I will give
4
you
lakh is living beings.
Yeah, I will give you the breakup. It says 9 lakhs, 9 lakh species are in the water. Okay. Then 20 lakhs are non-moving. Sthavara, trees and plants. They are that 20 lakhs. Then 11 lakhs are insects and reptiles. Then 10 lakh species are birds. And then also the other species also we count as 30 lakhs. But we human beings are only 4 lakh. Can we believe? It is confirmed in Padma Puran, if you see. So now what is this? In Canto 1, Chapter 2, Shloka 2, Sutta Goswami is saying, Yam pravajyanta anupeta peta krityam dvaipayana viharkatar arjuhava putrena tanmaya taya tarora bindus tam sarvabhuta hridayam munim anantosmi. Now, what is this meaning? The same pain was felt by Vyasadeva also. When Shukdev Goswami, who was just 16 years, 16 years, first of all, he was not ready to come out of his mother's womb. How many of you know? I don't know. Yeah. He was not ready to come out of the mother. Yeah. So, they were all praying, Vyasadeva said, Baba, please come out, So he said, no, I don't want to come and get entangled in this material world. So they promised him that, yes, we will see to it that you're not getting entangled. The moment this word was given, he came out of his mother's womb, 16 years, because those days are not like us. He straight away ran to the forest, to the trees. And Vyasdev was saying this shloka. He was running and he was with the shoka, He was saying, oh, my son, please stop, let me see you once. But he was not ready. Why? Because he said, I am very scared that I'll get entangled in this material world like you. So we are trying to understand from this shlokas, see, he's trying again and again to say that I don't want to get into it. This Jiva is saying, I don't want to get into it. So he's saying the living entity is the son of Supreme Lord, actually. Actually, to see, we all are children of that Supreme Lord. And he says, we want to enjoy this material world. So Supreme Lord gave us a chance to enter various bodies. Dear devotees, normally I will read for all the pregnant ladies, 3rd canto, 31st chapter. If you all get opportunity, please read. Those are 48 shlokas, amazing. You will understand the jiva, the child in the womb of the mother, can remember his previous 100 births, what he has taken. And now he says, oh my God, again I've come to the womb. That means I will have to take birth. And that means again, my school will start. I have to go for maths class, tuitions. I have to learn the grammar. I have to write the exams. And my mother and father are going to pull my ears again. Study. Okay, if I am a human body, he's saying this, only after coming out, I'll come to know. He's saying, previously I have been, plants also, I have been animals also. Oh my God, So as the karma is, we are given this body. Yeah. This body is like a machine. So the super soul comes along with the soul to help them to complete their work, but to come back. So every now and then, we are given an opportunity. We get an opportunity. What is that opportunity? Like ICF people, they have given us beautiful opportunity by giving this platform. Just on a touch of a button, you want to learn Vaishnavas, Kirtan, songs, you want to read Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, you want to take Dham Darshan, you are assigned to do so many tasks so that, we can revive ourselves, we can purify ourselves. But again, the free will that has been given by the Lord, if we are misusing that by saying, oh, come on, I'm bored, let me watch some movie, let me go out and enjoy something, then the karma calculation will happen accordingly. Everybody is getting this point, because I'm not able to understand if we are on the same page.
Yes, Mataji.
Yes, Mataji.
Yes, Mataji.
Thank you so much for
Yes, Mataji.
Thank you. Yeah. So the child is saying this, that the body created by so-called father and mother actually has nothing to do with its so-called creator, because you're not the creator ultimately, because you're also going to die and I'm also going to die. It's only the time difference. If you remember in the previous shlokas, Kritadyuti is saying, what type of Supreme Lord are you? You are the creator, and you have some laws that, no child will go in front of the father. The first father will go and then the child will go. How this has happened to me, You'll remember this? Yeah, we have done this.
She cried.
Yeah, so here the child is saying, to Maharaj Chitraketu and his wife, who were his father and mother, that you all are actually not the creators. We all are created by the Supreme. See how the discussion is going on. Very beautiful. Lots and lots of eye-opening will be in shloka 5 and 6. Yeah. Who wants to read the 5th shloka?
Can I read, Mataji?
Yeah, sure. Bandhus janati arha madhyastha mitra udasina vidvisha.
Bandhu jnati ari madhyastha mitro dasina vidvisha.
Sarva eva hi sarvesha bhavanti krimasha mitha.
Sarva eva hi sarvesham bhavanti kramasho mitaha.
Can read
Translation.
the
Okay, Mataji. Yeah. Hare Krishna Mataji. Translation by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada ki jai. In this in this material world, which advances like a river that carries away the living entity, all people become friends, relatives, and enemies in due course of time. They also act neutrally, they meditate, they despise one another, and they act in many other relationships. Nonetheless, despite these various transactions, no one is permanently related. Purport also, I'll read Mataji. Purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada ki jai. It is a practical experience in this material world that the same person who is one's friend today becomes one's enemy tomorrow. Our relationships as friends or enemies, family men or outsiders are actually the results of our different dealings. Chitraketu Maharaj was lamenting for his son who was now dead, but he could have considered the situation otherwise. This living entity, he could have thought, was my enemy in my last life, and now having appeared as my son, he is prematurely leaving just to give me pain and agony. Why should he not consider his dead son his former enemy, and instead of lamenting, be jubilant because of an enemy's death? As stated in Bhagavad Gita 3.27, Prakrite Kriyamanani Gunai Karmani Sarvashaha. Actually, everything is happening because of our association with the modes of material nature. Therefore, one who is my friend today in association with the mode of goodness may be my enemy tomorrow in association with the modes of passion and ignorance. As the modes of material nature work, in illusion, we accept others as friends, enemies, sons or fathers in terms of the reactions of different dealings under different conditions. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Krishna. Thank you so much, Mataji. Beautiful. So this is nothing but, we'll say, a surgery is happening. Why we'll say a surgery? Because first of all, this boy is giving a shock to the parents. The moment, imagine, Chitraketu and Kriyaditi, when she saw, the son getting up, they must have felt so happy. I mean, top of the world, And the moment he says, which mother and father, from which birth, and when he started speaking like this, I mean, just 2 minutes before, the same father was so happy looking at the child. And when he's saying, I am the Jiva, so when he started preaching like this, the father was very happy. Why he was happy? Because he was relating himself to the son as my son. My son is preaching. He was feeling so happy. He was feeling proud. This I and my, if we keep aside, then we will get enlightened. So the moment boy says that, no, I am not your, you are not my father or mother, because I am actual son of that creator. So this psychologically, both are getting affected. Chitraketu and Kedviti. Because if we see the metaphor that is used here, river is compared to material world. Why? Why material world? We are trying to see here. Because it says, if we try to visualize, now, first of all, we need to understand, if I keep the shloka in front here. Yeah. So it says, in this material world, which is advanced like a river. So this metaphor that is used, a river, and comparing to material world, dear devotees, it says that the way the river that carries away the living entities, this one line itself, it carries away the living entities. How it carries? Because we living beings are being affected by three mode of material nature. We say, three guna. What is this gunas? It is nothing but like a chain, We are all, sorry?
Goodness, passion, ignorance, Mataji, three gunas.
Yes, three guna. But then we say we are affected by this. Why we are saying that we are affected when we are in material world, we are affected by this three mode of material nature, because these gunas are nothing but like a chain. See, you are shackled with the chain. How does it matter whether it is an iron chain or it is a silver chain or it is a golden chain? Chain is a chain, isn't it? You are bound with it. That means you have no freedom. Actually, if we see, we don't have freedom. We feel that, oh, I can do this, I can do that. Tell me at what limit we can do this? To what extent we can do? Once one of the temple president, when we were speaking, because we take our class ka Bhakti Vriksha devotees, to Dham Yatras and all. So we take them to Europe, US trip, to show them how Prabhupada has put so much of efforts, to establish this ISKCON, International Society of Krishna Consciousness, and how the temples are progressing, and the foreign, devotees, how they are preaching and how they are, so progressed on devotional service, the devotional practice. So one of the temple president was saying, that we are always with ahankara, ahankar vimudhatma kartamiti manyashe, that we are all with the ahankara, pride, that, oh, I can do everything. What we can do, laughingly he's saying, one morning, he was supposed to sing Samsara Dhava, the Mangla Charan. And he said when he came and the mic was on, he was only on the first para, Samsara Dhava Nalanidha Loka Tranaya Karunya Gana Gana Tvam Praptasya Kalyana He's saying, normally, when we come to Shri Radhika, people start dancing. He's saying, I started dancing after the first para itself, and everybody is looking at me, why he's shaking. He's saying, I was shaking because something is biting in my dhoti. He's saying, I don't know what to do, what not to do. How will I complete the 8 stanzas and then Kirtan also, no? Hare Krishna. So immediately there is a standby. He says, somehow or the other, I was trying to hold myself. And after the 8 paras were done, I requested somebody to continue with the Kirtan, and I ran to see what is there. Such a small red ant. Such a small, tiny red ant did not allow him to complete his seva. Dear devotees, so what is our capacity of saying that, we can do anything and everything? So it says that this river that carries away the living entities. Now also, I was listening to one lecture. It says, we have seen, I don't know how many of you all have, seen on YouTube or, channels, when the news channel, they show, tsunami and hurricane and all that happening, how the water waves, to what length they come up and they wash off, the currents of the water. They wash off, whether it is, big skyscraper buildings or they are, heavy vehicles, I myself have witnessed when I was in Muscat prior to 15 years, 16 years, there was a natural calamity that Gonu happened. And we were there. Both the children were very small. My elder one was in 2nd standard, and my younger one was, not even in the playgroup, And I know how we was, every now and then the WhatsApp messages will be coming and they will show how, the buses full, completely packed with the passengers, they got drowned. And with the fear of meeting the death in no minute, they are coming out of the windows, they're breaking everything, and they're trying to sit on the roof, as if they're sitting on the roof means they will not die. So that's the reason this material world is said like a river, where it will wash off no matter all people, those who become our friends or relatives or enemies, due course of time, this is all going to go away. So it says they all act, some act neutral, they meditate. So he's saying despite one another, and they act in many other relationships, nevertheless, despite these many various transactions, no one is permanent. This one word is very important. Nothing is permanent that we see, Now, please don't feel bad and don't take to heart seriously. But this Srimad Bhagavatam tries to teach you what is real truth. And truth is always very harsh, very hard. But we have to. This one life is given to us to rectify our karmas that we have been revolving around in 84 lakhs. And after giving the human birth, if we are not getting enlightened to this right knowledge, then it will be a waste of this one life, dear devotees. So here the point is that the nature, the power of the nature is such, It says, if we try to visualize, if you see, if the water waves, you see, you go near the river or something, and you, left side you put one twig and right side you put one twig, and with the waves, it come together. Yeah. And they are coming together, they're floating for some time. And then another wave comes which washes off them and they got separate. This is the same logic for we jivas also. On the basis of our karma, two jivas come together. Yeah, they meet up, they have the family, and then we feel, oh, my handsome husband, oh, my beautiful, intelligent wife, oh, my cutie pie children, But over a period of time, this is only temporary. Why temporary? Because there is a give and take of the previous karmas that we have to nullify. We have to respect our husband that he is my caretaker. And the wife, husband has to give respect as a baidiya, that she is not only completing me, whether husband or wife, with the mutual understanding and the proper knowledge, when they have children, we say Vansha, Bhagavad Gita, first chapter. If we try to understand why we need children, why specifically we need son, that's what is the subject matter of Chitraketu. Why he was in the lamentation that I don't have son. Who is going to, after I die, who is going to give me obligations? And then the obligations for my forefathers are going to stop. So this is nothing but we are getting entangled and entangled and entangled. Yeah. It says, that's the reason, it says, in the material world, two jivas come together, stays, gets offsprings, and then they go. But the topmost understanding is Bhuktaram Yagna Tapasa Sarvaloka Maheshwaram. Thank you, Sindhu Mataji. Yes. We need to understand that anything and everything that is given to us, we need to offer it to the Lord. Why? Because He has given us to give Him. If we are enjoying, it is nothing but then our karma. And we are going to create again sin out of sin after sin. So this Suhurda word means friend. Lord is our true friend who is sitting within us. But if we bhajo, if we do kirtan, if we do chanting, then he is going to reciprocate.
Mataji, nowadays they say, na, love at first sight and divorce at first fight. That is a trend.
Okay, but in US, one of my friends, she had sent the WhatsApp. She said, love at first sight and divorce on the first night.
Yes, Mataji. Hari.
I'm so sorry. So why this conversation came? Because I was celebrating my 25th anniversary, and that's the time, she's from Florida. Because I have set of classes, going on. So that's how she told that you Indians, how you all maintain, your life, because this foreign life is just mechanical. When you want, you stop it. When you don't want, okay, finish. You go your way, I'm going my way. Very, very strange. So that's the reason it says, even in 3.25.21, it says, Titikshvaka karunika suhur sarvadehinam ajata shatruha shantaha sadhava sadhubhushanaha. Yeah. Why it is said that? Because it says the symptom of a sadhu are he is tolerant, merciful, friendly to all living entities. He has no enemy. So Lord wants us to take that qualities, and how that qualities will come to us when we will culminate knowledge. And this knowledge will come only from Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam. This shoka, because the son is speaking like this, the father is so worried, because he say, first of all, he got revived, by the mercy of this, Narada Muni and this. I was so happy. But now it looks like, he, even if he takes 3 dandi sannyas, I can understand that he's here. But he's saying, he's immediately refusing the relationship. That is hurting. Why? Because there was some expectations. That's why, dear devotees, do not have any expectation from husband or wife or children. Treat them as your best friend, that you have got them from the super best friend, that is the Supreme Lord. Do the seva, don't expect anything. Try to get your spiritual master. In Canto 1, Chapter 2, 21 shloka, it says, Bihidyate hridaya grantihi chidyante sarva samshayaha krishyante chasya karmani dishta evatmani ishvara. That is, this knots in the heart, it pierces, and all misgivings are cut to pieces. The chain of fruitive action is terminated when one is seeing the self as the master. Yeah. So who is the actual master? Maheshwara, the Supreme Lord. Yeah. I have few more shlokas to go. I'm so sorry. Yeah. Because everybody has joined late, I will take just 10 minutes more. Is it okay? Yeah.
Yes, Mataji.
Everybody joins late, no? So please try to join by 6:30. Your 8 o'clock. I'm here for, yeah. 6:16, 6. Yeah. Who wants to repeat? Who have not got the opportunity till now? Who did not get the opportunity because I'm not able to see?
I have it right, Mataji. Are we?
Yeah. Why not? Sure. So, yatha vastuni panyani hemadini tatastatha.
Yathastuti kanyani hemadini tatastha.
Paryatanti nareshva evam jiva yonishu kartrishu.
Haryatanti Harishwari Shevam Jivo Yonishu Karsashu.
Yeah, you can read only the translation because purport is
Yes,
huge.
translation by Srila Prabhupada from Bhakti Chair. Just as gold and other commodities are continually transferred from one place to another in due course of purchase and sale, so the living entity as a result of its fruitive activities wanders throughout the entire universe, being injected into various bodies and different species of life by one kind of father after another. Hare Krishna.
We will come to this, we will try to read the 2 shlokas and then I'll consolidate. Who can take one more? There are only 2 shlokas left. Who wants to read? Yeah, Sindhu Mataji, no problem. Yeah. Nityasya arhatasya sambandhahi anitya drishayat nushu.
Hari bol Mataji.
Please go.
Nityasyartasya sambandho hi anityo drishyate nrishu.
Yavad yasya hi sambandha mamatvam tavat evahi.
Yavad yasya hi sambandho mamatvam tavad evahi.
Please, you can read the translation.
Translation and purport or only translation?
Only translation, Mataji.
Translation by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. A few living entities are born in the human species and others are born as animals. Although both are living entities, their relationships are impermanent. An animal may remain in the custody of a human being for some time, and then the same animal may be transferred to the possession of other human beings. As soon as the animal goes away, the former proprietor no longer has a sense of ownership. As long as the animal is in his possession, he certainly has an affinity for it. But as soon as the animal is sold, the affinity is lost. Hare Krishna.
Now, thank you so much. We'll come back to this. Yeah. One more shloka. This is the last shloka. Who wants to read?
I'll read, Mataji.
No problem. Evam yoni gata jivaha sanityo nirahangkritaha.
Evam yoni gato jiva sanityo nirahankarprita.
Yavad yatra palapyate tavat savatavam hi yatat.
Yavad yatropalabhyeta tavat svatvam hitasya tat.
Translation.
Translation by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Even though one living entity becomes connected with another because of a relationship based on bodies that are perishable, the living entity is eternal. Actually, it is the body that is born or lost, not the living entity. One should not accept that the living entity takes birth or dies. The living being actually has no relationship with so-called fathers and mothers. As long as he appears as the son of a certain father and mother as a result of his past fruitive activities, he has a connection with the body given by that father and mother. Thus, he falsely accepts himself as their son and acts affectionately. After he dies, however, the relationship is finished. Under these circumstances, one should not be falsely involved with jubilation and lamentation. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
So the purport is also very small. It says when the jiva, living entity, lives within the material world, he falsely thinks that he is body, although actually he is not. His relationship with his body and his so-called father and mother are false, illusory conception. These illusions continue as long as one is not enlightened about the situation of the living entity. So we will try to dive a little further. So we were trying to understand in the 6th shloka. Now what is happening is, first of all, his son is, Chitraketu's son is, and giving us the knowledge. So there is a learning point for us. When the knowledge comes, knowledge can be irrespective whether it's junior or from senior. Sometimes you will see, on the YouTube, beautifully somebody is speaking, giving lecture and all that, maybe they are not that aged or something, age has got nothing to do. We say, oh, when you'll become big only then the knowledge comes. Yes, agreed, for a certain time, but not always, because we carry this knowledge from our previous also. Now, Bhagavad Gita also says that, if at all we are not able to, complete, then what happens? Lord is saying, I will give you a birth in an aristocratic family or in Brahmana family or in a devotee family from where you can continue. That means from where we'll continue? From where you stopped in your previous life. So knowledge, because three things that chases the jiva, that is the Atma. And what is that? Mind, intelligence, and ego. That ego should not be false ego. That should be, the ego should be, I am dasono, 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 das. And that's the reason in one life, one must opt for a Shiksha Guru and Diksha Guru. You must take Diksha. So materially, if we see the age or time, there is, it doesn't matter, maybe the age is less, but the instructions, if you have got, the life is done. The way I told in the beginning also, Shukadeva Goswami was just 16 years when he spoke Srimad Bhagavatam. And you all know, in that audience, who all were there? In the audience, his father himself was sitting. Vyasdev was sitting. His grandfather, Parashara Muni, was sitting. And Narada Muni also, where Parikshit Maharaj is, listening to Srimad Bhagavatam. And that's how we see how Sutta Goswami is saying that I heard, and then how the sages of Nimisharanya, their reference is given. So Chitraketu's son, when he's talking, Chitraketu is really in shock. Why? Because this shock is nothing but reality, truth. That, oh, my father, what you're speaking is material, and that is illusion. Bhaktivinoda Thakur says very beautifully, how long will you sleep in the lap of Maya? Because Maya jhapate dila, suijo, sleep. The mother, due to love, if we see the day, Saturday, Sunday, I remember my children, they're small and they're sleeping, so, and if my husband says, oh, come on, why they're not getting up, because he wants to play with them, because he also gets a little time. So I'm saying, no, let them sleep, little. And I'm okay, you sleep. Why? Because motherly love, that let them take rest. Yeah. This is nothing but, that we are into illusion. This give and take, this relationship, if you see, it is nothing but a give and take. To nullify that, to tally that balance of everybody takes birth, somebody comes as daughter, son, husband, wife, like that. I remember in one of the lecture, it was said, Srila Prabhupada was on the Vyasasana, and somebody comes in, he's blaspheming Srila Prabhupada, like, why you did like this, why you said like this, you were mentioning that, So Prabhupada just smiled and says, okay, sit. So after the session, some temple devotees, the serious ones, they came and said, Prabhupada, why didn't you say something to him? Why didn't you cross-question him or shout at him? You should have shut him like anything, So Prabhupada is saying, smilingly, no, you know what, irrespective of what he was speaking, but his way he was speaking harshly, there is some issue of mine with him in a previous life, and he was trying to clear that account, and Prabhupada is laughing, and everybody, So Prabhupada, you can see, how should we see that somebody has come here to fight with us, or somebody is enemy to us, this is, so dear devotees, if our neighbor is troubling us, we'll say, oh, okay, we can make a complaint and we can shut them, It is all temporary things. But fight between husband and wife, fight between parents and children, we need to sort it out. Why? Because that gives pain to the parents, father or mother or children also. Yeah. So to what we must give importance? Try to give importance to spiritual matter, not to the material matter, because these material matters are going to give trouble only.
Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
There is a beautiful sloka on this connection in Bhagavad Gita, no, Mataji?
Yeah.
What is that? Yomam Sarvashi Pash. 30th sloka, Mataji. If you can remember.
Yeah, you want to put it on the group? 30, huh?
No. I just recollected this, that the Lord is there in everyone's heart,
He's in everybody. Yes.
Yeah, when they scold also, we think that the Lord is testing us through that person.
Yes. Yeah.
You're right. I'm just,
yes. So we here what we are trying to understand is whom to give importance and whom not to give importance. Yeah. This child is telling to the parents, what are you talking? Why you have to give so much of importance to this relationship, which is temporary? On that point, we have to understand that do not give. Oh my God. Okay, no problem. Yeah. So we try to understand here, that whom to give importance, because Chitraketu is learning from his son this lesson, because the son is teaching him, that, don't give importance to all these things. So, dear devotees, the learning point here is that Maya will take up, all kinds of austerities and sacrifices that we'll do will help us to culminate knowledge. Because all that we have to go through, trouble or pain, that is our private affair. Like suddenly my husband comes and he is with the angry mood because of many reasons, his car broke down, or in office something happened, or something he was to achieve he could not do. And he had a lot of that. And the moment he comes, he pours out, I should not be saying, how dare you? How dare you talk to me like this? You think, you worked out and I was sitting home alone doing, enjoying. No, I was also doing work. I am also tired. No. So this is how the knowledge will work. Your mind has to be always your friend. If it takes you to the opposite direction of knowledge, that means your friend is enemy. I hope everybody is getting my point, what I'm trying to say. Dear devotees?
Yes, Mataji.
Yes, Mataji.
Yes. So we need to try and always have the knowledge of what is going to help us to progress, not only time being here. I know I'm going to meet my death one or the other day. So what is the point, making so many enemies around me? The seniors always says, the elders always says, no matter whatever affair or whatever matter is, 4 friends you must have. Why? Because they will be the one who will be giving us the last ride for our rituals, isn't it? So we need that 4. So we must have friends. And that's the reason it says that what is the point? Being a human being, we act like an animal, because this relationship is not permanent. It is temporary. Yeah. So like an animal stays in the custody of human being for some times, and then the same animal may be transferred to others. Yeah. As soon as the animal goes away, the former proprietor no longer has the sense of ownership, isn't it? Same way, we are trying to understand that, like, for example, the metaphor is given of gold, that today you have gold ornament. Tomorrow you may sell this or you may pass on to somebody. This becomes for somebody else. The ownership will keep on changing. Same way, we keep changing our bodies and our relationship. On that basis, our relationship will keep changing. So for what is not permanent, why we have to lament? Again, Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is telling to Arjuna that don't lament, and don't feel that by killing, you're killing them and you're having sin on your life. No. Yeah. So sometimes you have to do your duties. So Chitraketu's son is also trying to teach him the same. It says relationship is only for the body. The jiva who has entered a body is eternal, nitya, and without any material identity. Yeah, as long as the jiva stays in this body, he has identified himself as somebody's son or father or mother. Yeah, once he leaves this body, there is no relation. So what is the learning here? That we have to have the knowledge of the Supreme, that he is the Suhurd, he is our original friend, and spread his knowledge, his sweetness with everybody. So with that note, we stop here. So if at all anybody felt the harshness, because it was very harsh to understand, and to now after knowing, to practice it. So vancha kalpatarvesha kripa sindhuvesha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha ananta koti vaishnavanta ki jai. Srila Prabhupada.